All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College. Had some machine problems, which have now been resolved, and I also want to show you why I wasn't getting my menu to print. It's because I didn't add the menu. Sometimes when you make a mistake, it's the simplest stuff. I did not have this in here. So what I want to do is I want to put that in here now. And I want to run the whole program, and I want to see whether or not it works. Well, you can see whether or not it works. All right, so there it is. So enter a 1 to show if all employee numbers are unique or not. So 1, they're all unique. Let's bring it up again. A 2, are any first or last names empty? No. A 3, are all the hours worked and hourly rates within range? They are. A 4, to count the number of employees working overtime and show those employees. There they are. There's 9 of them, and you can see them all right there. Number 5, count the number of employees not working overtime. That was 16, and there they are. Number 6, count the number of employees making minimum wage or making $15 or above. So again, there were 20 of them. You can see every one of them was more than that. All right. Not making minimum wage. There's the 5 right there. So that's 1 through 7. They're all good. Number 8, show the index of the employee with the highest employee number. There she is. Number 9, show the index of the employee with the highest hourly rate. That's Victoria Thompson at $90.25. 10, the employee with the most hours. Oops, try that again. So 10, that is wrong. The hours worked 1622. We'll have to fix that in a second. I know what the problem is. So let's fix that. So this is number 10. It should be the employee working the most hours. So we did hours first, and then, so this is the highest rate. 9 was the highest rate. That's right, but 10 is wrong. Because that's the highest hours worked, and that is the wrong number there. So let's fix that. Just put in a 13 here. All right. We need our methods up here. And we need to find the one for the highest hours worked. Working most hours. Most hours, most hours, most hours. 1, 2, 3. I mean, the guy is Avery Thomas. And that's the hours worked. 3. and that's the hourly rate. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So something is wrong in here. We're going to fix it right now. Okay, that should be a 3. And I believe that's the problem. So File, Save All. Let's run it again. So 1 through 9 worked fine. 10, oops, 10, highest hours worked were 83.25 by Victoria Thompson. 11, largest gross pay, I think was also her. She worked the most hours, so 12, okay, I'm getting, I don't want those line breaks that are in there, so let's fix those. And then we can put this to rest. Okay, we don't need the \n. I believe that's what it is. So let's check that. Save. Run the program one last time. Try the number 12. There we go. All right. So the program now is totally working. I want to take 5 or 10 minutes to go over everything that was in here. Okay, the program started with our Python non-oop. That should be the first file in here. Well, that's fine. Okay, so we'll look at that. There it is. We had our comment. I'm not going to go over that. All right, we don't need this. So in here we set our title, so it says we're working with a program with tuples. Then we're calling the tuple menu, which was bringing up the menu. The reason it wasn't working before is I didn't have the tuple menu written. So this says to call main. So that's all fine. All right. Then we had our header. Our header simply said, welcome to my Python payroll program. This program will utilize Python, and we passed in there tuples. That's that. Then we had our menu. So we set up, we created a tuple here with 25 records in there. Each record had an employee number, an employee first name, an employee last name, a number of hours the employee worked, the employee's hourly rate, and their calculated gross pay. Then we set up our menu options. Again, because of the fact that there's only 2 methods that are available really in here, I didn't, I did a lot on my own. I did the counting and the indexing on my own. Then now this is what I added, where we set up the menu. So let me move this over just a little bit so you can see most everything. So again, a 1 to show if all employees are unique or not, a 2 to show if any employees have an empty first or last name, a 3 to make sure that the hours worked and the hourly rates were within range, a 4 to count the number of employees working overtime, which was, I think, 9, 5 for the number of employees not overtime, 16, or else those are reversed, I don't remember. A 6 with a number making minimum wage or above, I think that was 20. A 7, that should be A7, and that should be an 8. A 7 for the employees not making minimum wage, again I think that was 5. An 8 to show the index of the employee with the highest employee number, and that was that woman named something Garcia, I believe it was. there. Only one that started with a 9. Next, we show the index of the employee with the highest hourly rate. That was Victoria Thompson. All right. Next, we did the employee working the most hours. That was Avery Thomas with 96. So that one might still be wrong. That's a 10. That should be him. So we'll check that in just a minute. 11 was the employee with the largest gross pay. So that's the biggest last column, and that was, again, Victoria Thompson. 11 were all the employees that were working overtime. It was another way to do the same thing. We came in here and we said, make a choice. If it's 13, end the program. End program, just cleared the screen, waited a few seconds, cleared the screen, and exited. Otherwise, try, if you can, do these. If you can't, you put in something invalid. Okay? All right, then we had our methods. Let's save this so we're sure it's saved. All right, then we put in our methods. I did do the imports here. I kept all of the constants except I got rid of the max non-OT. I'm sorry, not the max non-OT, the overtime rate of time and a half. Replaced it with min wage, an arbitrary minimum wage of $15. We don't need this anymore. I put comments in front of each one of these. Again, this was going through a for loop. It was going through every record to make sure that whatever we had was not the same as, so it's checking every record against every other record to make sure that each employee number was unique. All right, if we got down to here, which we did, it checked and it didn't find any that are unique. So it's, were not unique. In other words, it found no matches. So all employee numbers are unique. Then we did a similar thing with first and last names. We have a for loop in here. Here we did the for loop right here. All right, but we did the for loop in here, and we're saying if first name is empty or the last name is empty, we raise the value error. If we got down to here, which again we did, then we knew all of the names had a value in there. None of them were empty. All right. Then we did a similar thing for the hours and for the rate, and we used a shortcut that's available to you in Python. So in that for loop, what that's saying is if the hours figure you're figuring is not greater than 0, or it's not less than 84, we raised an error saying where it must be. We did the same thing with the rate. That we said if the rate was not greater than or equal to 0 and it was not less than or equal to 99.99, we again raised an error. If we got down to here, and again we did, so let me do this. No error was raised. No error was raised. No error was raised. So both the hours worked and hourly rate were within the acceptable ranges. So we printed out a message stating this. for each field. And that's that. Then we came down here, find the number of employees who have worked overtime. So again, for loop, we're going through there, and if the employee, that's their hours worked, if it's greater than 40, we're basically adding them to the list. We're printing out the number that worked overtime. That's that length of this list. All right, then we actually are printing out the names and the hours for these employees. We do a similar thing for the ones not working overtime, but instead of being greater than max non-OT, it's less than or equal to max non-OT. All right. Then we've got the ones making a minimum wage. So this is field 4, really field 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if it's greater than or equal to 15, we're adding 1 to our count, and then we're printing out the names and the hourly rates for those people who met that criteria. We do a similar thing if you're below minimum wage. So instead of it being less than or equal to 15 or min wage, it's less than min wage. And again, we print that out. Since this is the wage, the hourly rate, we could put a $sign here. That's how much money they're making per hour. So is this. This is the largest employee number. So again, we're going through there and we're grabbing the biggest one. That is becoming basically our key to go in there and use a lambda. All right, and we're doing a similar thing where we're again going in and we're finding the highest hourly rate. We've got 2 things here. This is finding the index. This is finding the value at that index. And again, we're doing the same thing here with hours. And we're doing the same thing here with gross pay and with a number of employees who are working overtime. Finally, we've got our end program. This was a challenge. I want to do one last thing for in front of you here, and that is I'm going to take these 4 files. I'm going to copy them to the clipboard. All right. I am going to not even do it like that. Let me close these. These are now working. So let me go back to here where I've got this. I'm going to grab these, copy them to the clipboard, go to my set, paste them in, and very quickly just Python header is fine. This will become Python set menu. This will become Python set methods. This will become Python set non-OP, and I'm going to work on that tomorrow. So that's all been done. Finally, let me just tell you that, kind of was so we have now done tuples, including the 2 tuple methods. So tomorrow we're going to work with the last different kind of built-in data type here. Those are sets. Sets, again, are used to store multiple items in a single value. It's unordered, it's unchangeable, and it's unindexed. That is a key, unindexed. Set items are unchangeable, but you can remove and add new items. All right, so What we will do tomorrow is we'll take a look at, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different built-in set methods. So we'll work with those starting tomorrow. All right. That's it for tonight. Have a good evening.